Hello everyone, this is Monica from Needle and Paper. Today I wanted to show you how I created this card, which was made entirely with leftovers from pieces that I have from other projects in the past. I started to pull out my little stash of sentiments, and these ones are in Spanish and are from Latina Crafter. I really wanted to use one of these in Spanish ones because this card was for my daughter's birthday. Then I pull out my other stash of different die cuts, pre-stamped, pre-colored, pre-foiled, images. I just instantly grabbed the butterflies, and I had quite a few butterflies in this little case. And because obviously it was for my daughter, and she turned 10, and she loves butterflies. And some of these ones you can barely see, but some of these ones are rainbow foiled, and I knew she was gonna love that. So I just started to select everything I found that I thought it could go with her card. I really didn't have a definite design in mind. It really started to shape as I started to have more items in my hand. These frames, they were also left over from a different project, and I keep pretty much everything. This background that I never used, and this background, which is the exact same, is done with the exact same embossing folder as this yellow and pink one, but in vellum. And again, I never use it. So I had all these items now, and I decided to use the vellum background because it sort of occurred to me that I could make a sort of see-through card. So I trimmed the excess of this larger panel, and I trim it to make basically a card base, so an A2 card base, and I score it and in the center, and use my bone folder to create the fold. Now, the see-through cards, though beautiful, are tricky because you're going to see the glue on the other side, right, of the elements that you're adding. You're going to see later on how I just sort of like hid it and also created a space to write a message in the card. As a little side note, I wanted to say that this video is pretty much all real time. I speeded it up just a tiny bit. Well, and here I started to add the elements, and again, completely random. Still the idea is shaping in my head. I definitely wanted to use the butterflies. I thought I wanted to use flowers. Obviously, the sentiment has to go somewhere in there, and the sentiment reads a special gift for you, but in Spanish. And I still wanted to add that frame, right? The gold frame. That's matte mirror cardstock or matte metallic cardstock, and the frame, the die frame, is from Simon Says Stamp. And you'll see that you end up with a skinny frame and a little bit of a thicker frame, and so forth, in different sizes. And it's very useful. I use it all the time. I decided to go with the skinnier frame because I really kind of wanted to leave a lot of the vellum exposed. And the butterflies were taken, obviously from the vellum, they were taking room. So I wanted to, the frame really is just the detail. So I adhere it using liquid glue. I've noted before that I like to use liquid glue because if it's not centered, especially in these type of elements, if it's not centered, you can sort of like wiggle it a little bit and rearrange. And then I did the same. I like to glue it and set it aside so the glue is not too runny. It's more like tacky. And so, but just a few seconds of it will be enough for the glue to get the right texture. And I did the same with the butterflies and set them aside. if I remember correctly, this butterfly set is from Pink Fresh Studio and is foil plate. It's a foiling plate. I foiled two, or two were from, they're from different projects. So the color ones, or the sort of like a rainbow ones, are done in cardstock, and then the other two are done in vellum, also foil, but with a rose gold foil. It's a really pretty one, and I reach out to that one very often. I decided to open up a little bit the wings of the butterflies, and in this case, because this card was not going to be mailed, it was for my daughter, was going to stay home. It's so nice to see it. She has it displayed in her bedroom, and it looks all three-dimensional. It looks very nice. Then I finally adding my elements more or less how I want them, and as you see, the butterflies are not moving because the glue at this point is tacky enough that you leave the element and it doesn't, it stays. Um, Obviously, if you open up the card, you see everything in the back. It's not terrible, but it's not ideal. So here I actually wanted to leave this on camera because um, sometimes people don't think that we change our mind, and I did. That first butterfly was pink, and I didn't like it. I thought it was too much color, so I decided to change it, sorry, for a gold one, because I had quite a few leftover ones. So I cut two pieces of cardstock, plain white cardstock, of the same size of the frame. So that is to basically hide the elements and also have a place to write a message. So as you see, I used the back of the frame to add the glue and then to adhere the panel. And then you're going to see what I did to adhere the other cardstock, which is like, again, it's the exact same size, but on the other side of the panel. So I added glue in, and you're going to see I added glue in the panel. In this part that is facing us, there is glue there. Close the lid or the back side of the card, and then the panel is adhered in precisely in the place where I want it. Then, as a final touch, I just freely splatter some gold. This actually is sort of like a watercolor that I use for calligraphy, and I use it quite a bit for my cards. And this is just to add a little bit of, interest and sparkle, and it also makes the card a little bit more cohesive. And then I just went everywhere it fell, and then I adhere my sentiment. I used foam tape in the back, and I just adhere it right there. You can use a T ruler if you're not sure about your sentiment, the placement of your sentiment. That's always very handy. And I, of course, had to add a little bit of more bling because it's my daughter and she's 10. And hello, I absolutely love bling. These are crystals. And though it's hard to see here, they're iridescent and they go just perfect with the vellum and the colors of the butterflies. So this is it. This is the entire project. I didn't have to stamp, foil, emboss, nothing. Everything was pre-done and I just had to put things together. And I got to use those elements I have been saving for later. I hope you like it. Thank you so much for watching. This is Monica. See you next time.